What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Hartley and welcome back to my weekly watch list video. In this series, my goal is to share with you what stocks are at the top of my watch list, how I feel about the market conditions, and today we're going to start with some of my picks from last week. So let's jump right in. Okay, so last week I pointed out a couple of different stocks to you, but one of the stocks was Amazon. I really like Amazon. It's one of my long-term positions. I think the company is very well positioned for future growth, and I think they're very difficult to compete with. So they definitely have a good strategic advantage. And I said that we had a bit of a double bottom right here. We had a bit of a descending wedge pattern forming, and we were starting to test the top channel of this wedge right here. And so I said, if we see a breakout, this could be a great buying opportunity. And this week, that is exactly what we saw. We saw a very strong breakout. We saw increasing volume, and Amazon had a beautiful move up. They're up 11% last week, and we did extremely well here. Now, the second company here was LICY. This is a stock that I said, hey, this is a company that has huge potential. They're a great opportunity. I really like the business model long term. They consolidated a little bit down here around 650 to 750, but they were starting to break out. They just broke through resistance, and it looks like it could run higher. And that, again, is exactly what happened. LICY is up 13% since last week, so it was pretty good. Two of the picks did really well. Some of the other trades didn't work out. Obviously, not all the trades work out, but these two, they kind of followed the plan exactly how I wanted them to, which was really, really nice to see. Now, let's dive into the market conditions and how we did this week. And as you can see, the NASDAQ just had a beautiful, beautiful week, bouncing off support right here around 12,550 kind of area. And we are now approaching almost 14,000 here, which is absolutely beautiful to see. You could argue here that we've also broken out of the trend that we have seen over the last sort of 2 months. We'll need a little bit more confirmation going into next week, but as of right now, it's looking really, really good. When we look at the S&P 500, which is a little bit more of a broad index of the US market, it looks even better, and as you can see, it's a very, very clear breakout with extremely high volume on Friday, which is a beautiful sign to see, especially considering that on Wednesday, we actually had the announcement about a rate increase from the Fed. We're going to talk about that in 1 second, but overall, very, very nice to see. And when we look at the Dow Jones, you can see that it's a similar pattern. It was an excellent week for us. We haven't quite broken out of the resistance that has formed here, but we're getting pretty darn close. And so overall, the summary conditions of the market, it was a beautiful week. It was a strong week, and we are starting to see some breakouts, both from individual stocks as well as our indices. And so that is very nice to see. We did have an increase in our Fed interest rate in the United States, like I mentioned before. This isn't going to have a direct impact on interest rates like tomorrow, but it is going to kind of slowly play into the economy over time. The major concern and the reason that they raised interest rates here is because of inflation. Inflation is a major, major issue, and I think it's going to be a continued issue for at least the next probably 6 to 12 months here. I don't think we're going to get out of this at least 4 to 8% inflation zone for the next little while, and Russia and Ukraine is still putting some tension on the broad markets. Now, when we look at the Bitcoin chart, I showed you a couple of weeks ago that we had some major resistance right here around 45,000, and we're starting to form some higher lows, which is very nice to see. Again, forming an ascending wedge pattern this time, and what we are looking for is a breakout to the upside, or at least that's what I'm looking for because I hold some Bitcoin right now. And so if we break down through this level, or if we set a lower low, that would be a very bad sign. That would be a very bearish sign, but it is something that could happen. And so definitely I am bullish long-term on Bitcoin. I think it's going to go up over the long term. Who knows what's going to happen over the next little while. We are definitely in sort of a consolidation period as of right now until we break out above either 45 or we set a lower low here, probably below 37.5. And so until one of those two things happens, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern on Bitcoin. I'm currently mining Bitcoin, so mine just kind of continually stacks up. But I wouldn't be super eager to buy in if you're looking to trade it short term right now. Long term, I think it'll do fine. Now, when it comes to earnings this week, we got a couple of exciting companies that are reporting earnings, starting with Nike on Monday. Tuesday, the company I'm really looking forward to is Joby. That's a company that I really like for a long-term hold. I'm also really interested in Poshmark. It's kind of like a marketplace for used clothing, and I think they're going to do well over time, but the stock has been absolutely hammered recently, so I think there could be an opportunity there. I am also really interested in Tencent. They're reporting on Wednesday before the open, so that's going to be a big report here. I also didn't know Traeger. Where is the Traeger logo? It's in here somewhere. I didn't know they were publicly traded, so I'm going to do a little bit of research on them this week. I have a Traeger barbecue. I like the product, and I'm really interested to see what their revenue looks like. We also have NIO, the electric car company, reporting on Thursday after the close, and Joby Aviation. This is kind of a drone company that we're actually going to talk about here in just 1 second. But before we do that, I just want to let you know about the Discord chat. That is where I'm building a community of traders and investors to share their due diligence, share their research, share their buys and sells. And that is where I post all of my analysis, all of my charts on a daily basis, and all of my buys and sells. So if you're interested in seeing what I am doing and what others are doing, definitely consider checking it out. It's $5 per month. There's an Ask Me Anything thread in there, so you can literally ask me questions every single day. I try to respond as quickly as I can, and we also do a daily market update. So if you just want to see what's happening in the market, I've got everything ready to go for you there in the Discord every single morning. Now, let's dive into some of the stocks for this week, starting with Joby Aviation. Like we said, they have earnings coming out on Thursday. It's a pretty exciting company, but the stock has been hammered down pretty hard from a high of over $14 to a low of $3.61. As you can see, we have a pretty clear resistance line here. All I'm doing here is connecting the highs that are formed by the price action, and as you can see, that trend is starting to change. We have 1, 2, 3 higher lows sort of forming a wedge pattern right here, and just over the course of Thursday and Friday we saw a very nice breakout with some decent volume. It's very good confirmation, and if we open higher on Monday, Joby Aviation could be at the top of my watch list. I don't think the earnings is going to be absolutely amazing on Thursday. I think we'll get some updates about the company, but I'd be surprised if we saw any major numbers, but we'll have to see what happens there. Now, Alphabet. This is Google. Alphabet is the parent company of Google. Google is a company that, again, I also like long-term. Amazon and Alphabet, beautiful companies that are very difficult to compete with and are probably going to grow over the next 10 years. So I like them long-term. And if you're looking for an entry point, or if you're looking to trade short-term, I like Google right now because we have bounced off support. We've broken out through previous highs formed right here, and if we can get above or at least open higher on Monday, I think we've got room to run it back up to around 3,000 at least over the next 1 to 2 months here. I think Alphabet is going to do extremely well over the next 5 years, and I hold a pretty decent portion of my portfolio in Alphabet. Next company here is Square. I don't hold any Square right now, but I am super interested in the company. As you can see, we set a low of $82 here, and we found resistance at 131 right here, kind of in the middle of January, and then again at the end of February, and now we are starting to break through that resistance level. We saw great volume, we saw great price action on Friday, so Square is doing extremely well. Well, I mean, not over the last 6 months, but over the last week, Square did extremely well. They're up from under $100 to over $140 right now, which is very nice to see. 40% move in about 4 or 5 days. So Square is doing really well. I would like to see a bit of a pullback. I'd like to see the stock sort of take a break and then move higher or retest the support or resistance at 131. That would be really nice to see, but we'll have to see how this sort of plays out over the next little while. Now, Tesla. Tesla is a company that I like to trade in and out of. I'm interested in getting back into Tesla right now. As you can see, Tesla has some crazy action around these round numbers such as 700, 800, and 900. You can see we got rejected at 900 right here. We ran up to 1250 and we came all the way back down to 700. We're now retesting 900 right here, and if we can break through 900, it could be a great opportunity to bring it back up to around 11 or 1200 over the next few months if we see at least some positive catalysts come out of Tesla over the next little while. Next company here is Palantir. Kind of a similar pattern to some of the last companies, where what we're seeing here is a bit of a change in direction. That's what I'm trying to point out to you here, is that over the last sort of 2 to 3 months here, Palantir has been falling from like $47 or $48 and then to $27 and then down to $9.74, and it has traded sideways over the last 2 to 3 weeks right here, and now we're starting to trade in the bullish direction. We're starting to move higher, and the reason that I say that is because, again, we've set some higher lows right here from $9.74 down to above $10, and this $12 level here seems to be really important. It acted as support, it acted as resistance, and now we're starting to break through at the exact same area as where I sort of drew our trend line, and we're starting to approach our 20-day moving average. So we've got a lot of different things going on here, and if we see continued positive movement from Palantir, it could be a great opportunity to get into this stock that I think is going to grow pretty quickly over the next little while. It just comes down to the valuation now, because it's a good company, good business model, but it's just about, can you get in at the right price? Now, last company I want to point out to you here is LMND. This is an insurance company. I really like what they're doing, what the business model is. They're growing pretty quickly, and over the last little while, again, their stock has been absolutely hammered from a high of almost $80 down to $16.69. We have traded within a pretty tight channel here over the last sort of 4 to 5 months here, and now we're starting to break out of that channel. So I'm looking at LMND for an investment if we can get above this sort of 20-day moving average with continued price action, nice volume, and a continued rebound from the market. A couple of these stocks, especially like LMND, Palantir, and Tesla, maybe not Tesla, but LMND and Palantir for sure, and Square. I'm not going to be buying into these companies if the markets, particularly the technology markets, don't continue to move higher. If the market sells off, even if one of these stocks continues to go up, I don't think I would buy in, because the general direction of the market is trending in the downward direction still, but even if the company is moving up, it's probably not worth the risk, because the market is going to bring it down eventually. However, if the market starts to move back up, starts to move higher, and it continues to move higher from last week, that could be a great kind of confirmation that these stocks are breaking out and that it's a good time to enter them. So that's how I think about it, and that's what goes through my head. Now, a couple of other stocks that I'm really interested in, I just don't have the time to show you the charts. I really like Uber for a long-term I like Uber for like a 2 to 4 year investment. I like Coursera for a long-term investment. I hold position in Amazon, and I plan to add to it, and I really like LICY for a long-term position, as long as they can continue to execute. They're a very young company, and so they definitely need to check off all of the things on their roadmap. But if they can do that, I think the business model is absolutely beautiful. Now, in summary here, I think we could be seeing a great breakout in the market. I think we could be seeing a change of this bearish trend. I think we could be seeing a beautiful rebound over the next few weeks here. However, we do need just a couple more days of confirmation here. We have seen a nice correction over the last 2 months, and I think it has brought all of those high-flying tech stocks and a couple other industries that I'm not going to name, but I think it's brought all of these companies that were flying at super high valuations back down to reality. And now I think it's also given us a couple of opportunities to get into some good stocks at good levels with good valuations. And so that's what is on my radar. These are the stocks I'm watching. And I do think that inflation is a major concern both for companies and consumers. So you need to think about how that plays into how you manage your cash position, your investments, and how you're generating income and how much income you're generating, because if you're not looking at a raise for a few years, it might be something that you need to consider, because inflation is really going to start to hit us over the next little while. But if you want to learn more about that and you want to learn more about how to find stocks like this, definitely consider checking out my stock market fundamentals course. It is completely free. It's hosted on Skillshare, and I promise you it'll be the best free resource that you can find online. The link is down below. It's 10 hours long, but when you use that link, you get free access to the entire platform for like a 1-month trial. My course is 10 hours long. It has 1,100 students, over 380 reviews, and I promise you it'll be well worth your time. It's completely free, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. You just have to create an account with Skillshare, cancel the account before the subscription's over, and you're all set. Now, if you got any value out of this video, please remember to click that like and subscribe button. I sincerely appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one. Good luck trading, good luck investing, and we'll talk to you soon.